With the base platform primed and painted, we're now ready to attach the walls. And we're going to start with this one. Again, this is the front of the ship. This is the back of the ship. So we're going to start with this particular wall. And we have made some marks. Remember these marks that we made on the side of the platform. It indicates the center and the outside of our wall. So we can line it up. We can see exactly where the center is going to be. And the way that we're going to do that, we're going to use a square, and we're going to place the square right up against exactly where it needs to go. And then we'll take that wall, and at 3/8 of an inch, we'll make sure that the wall is straight, and it's 3/8 of an inch from the edge. So the square helped us make sure that it's straight. We got it 3/8 of an inch from the edge. We got it now clamped. We made sure that the door is on the right side, that its orientation is correct. It's clamped down, and we're ready now to flip it over, make some pilot holes, and attach it to the platform. With the platform turned on its side, we can now put all of the walls, and you can see where the pilot holes, exactly where we're going to go. So all the pilot holes are visible and ready. So we know exactly where we need to drill and where we need to place the screws. I used my countersink bit and drilled the holes and then put the screws in for that particular wall, and it's ready to go. The second wall is this middle wall, and the way that we're going to determine where it goes is from the edge. We're going to remember it's 9 inches. So we're going to take a different type of square, and we're going to find exactly 9 inches, place it 9 inches all the way across. And this time, instead of securing to the bottom, we're going to do that later. We're going to take a single screw and we're going to go into the side. And then we're going to go ahead and move to this wall. All right, for this wall, again, we want to make sure that middle wall stays 9 inches from the edge. This one, 3/8 inches is where it starts, 3/8 inches from the edge. And the square is going to help us get it straight. And then we're going to flip it, attach just the middle section, come back and make sure that this wall is still straight, and clamp it down. And then once we get it all clamped down, we'll get all of those walls attached. Now the way, again, on this side, one of the ways that we're going to make sure that that wall is where it's supposed to be is we're just doing a single screw into the side. That's what's holding it in place. And then when you flip it so that you can put the screws into the bottom, you just make sure that it's exactly 9 inches from the edge. And the 3 main walls are all attached. They all line up well. They're 3/8 of an inch from the edge. They line up with my marks. The screws all went in straight, went in well. And we're good to go. In order to get the sick bay aligned, we kind of put it in place, got it where it kind of goes. And then remember, we made some marks on the edges to indicate where they need to be. So we lined up the center mark with the center of that wall, and that should align with this side as well. And then we have this single, this is where we're going to attach it. Instead of using clamps, we're going to go ahead and attach it to the wall. This way, just go ahead and screw it in. Countersink, put the screw in, and you're good to go. And then you want to measure the distance from here to the edge, from the wall to the edge, wall to the edge. And that distance might vary, but for me, this setup, it was 2 inches, 3/16, and on each side. So I kind of even with that screw in place, not tightened down all the way, but kind of in place, and then get it exactly where it's supposed to be, then tighten that screw in. So at 2 inches and 3/16, once I had that done, tightened up the screw, flipped it, and then all the pilot holes lined up, and get the screws into the bottom. And then you have those walls attached. Next, we're going to attach the stern platform. And I have the square lined up to remind me exactly where those edges go. And then if we remember, on the back side, we needed to come in 7.5 inches from each side to get to that edge. So that makes sure that it's centered exactly where we had it before, where the pilot holes are drilled. So we have it in place. Now we just need to clamp it down, flip it, and screw it to the base. We now have the stern platform attached to the primary base. Adding this small support wall is as simple as clamping it in place, again, 3/8 of an inch from the edge, lining it up with the original wall, the first wall that we put in. We can secure it with a single screw here, and with the clamp and the screw in place, you can flip it on its side or upside down. Measure 3/4 of an inch from the edge, that'll be the center of that board, and put in another screw to hold it in place. All right, so adding this wall, again, no clamps. I didn't need any clamps for this one. Instead, I'm going to use the hinges and go ahead and use the longer screws that I've been using and put one in the middle of each. I will use the screws for the rest of it that came with the hinges, but to attach the hinges and the wall at the same time, I do 2 screws in the middle of the hinges that I bought for the hinged wall that goes across in this section. And then once that's in place, then I measure the distance. It was 2 5/8, I think, from the wall to the edge. Added 3/8 inches to find the center of that board, measured down 3 inches from the edge on the bottom, measured down 3 inches. That's going to be the drill point for the pilot hole, and putting a screw into the bottom of it to hold it in place underneath, and then 2 in the side. So that holds that wall in place. So for attaching the hinge door to the walls, I printed some spacers, 1 millimeter, 2, 3, and 4 millimeters thick, and then use them as combinations to determine how high I want, how much spacing I want. And then I just use that as the spacer. Now you don't have to have 3D printed spacers. You could really use anything you want. You could use cardboard as long as it's just even. And that's the spacers that you're going to use. And then once you get that in place, then put your wall in place, attach all the hinges, and you are good to go with the attached hinged wall. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you get a chance, visit me at chrisdorch.com. You can see the store online, and there's tons of free resources as well. Again, thanks for watching the video.